ভরি যতনে রাখিল প্রেম হেম কুম্ভ ভরি এলো গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় এলো গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় এবে সেই প্রেমলয়ে জগজন দিল এবে সেই প্রেমলয়ে জগজন দিল এ দাস লোচন ভাগ্য এ দাস লোচন ভাগ্য এ দাস লোচন ভাগ্য বিন্দু না মিলিল বিন্দু না মিলিল এলো গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় এলো গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় এলো গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় ওরে ভাষাইল গৌর দেশ ভাষাইল গৌর দেশ প্রাণের গৌরব ভাষাইল গৌর দেশ ভাষাইল গৌর গৌর ভাষাইল গৌর দেশ প্রেম দৃষ্টি দিয়ে প্রেম দৃষ্টি দিয়ে গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় গৌর রস নদী কাদম্বিনী হয় কাদম্বিনী হয় কাদম্বিনী হয় जय सच्चिदानंद श्री गौर हरि की जय श्री श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी जी की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ओम हरे कृष्णा. So thank you very much for attending today. I would like to welcome all the devotees, especially our esteemed speaker and guest, His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhu, joining here from Alachua. On behalf of ISKCON New Orleans, I would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining today and giving us the fortune to associate and listen from you for this next few days going into Gaur Purnima, and especially discussing Gaur Katha and glories of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Also, I would like to welcome all the devotees assembled here, head by His Grace Radhacharan Prabhu, Madhavi Shakti Mataji, Sarvatarak Prabhu, and other devotees. So I'd like to welcome all of you all. Today is the first day of chanting the glories of Mahaprabhu. And so without further delay, we will start the program. So the wonderful program, I'll just relate quickly the structure. So we start, usually our program starts from 6 o'clock, but just to save some time in Kirtan and Bhajan, So we'll be doing that 15 minutes in advance. So 5:45 to 6, we will do kirtan. Then starting 6 o'clock to 6:20, 6:30, 15, 20 minutes, we have wonderful presentation which is prepared by our youths, all our youths who will be presenting certain topics upon which we will be discussing during the class. Pran Govinda Prabhu will be speaking about it following the presentation. So I request everybody to please participate and associate, and also request other devotees also to join, and we can have wonderful association here. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay, so is Vishnupriya today? Today's presentation is by Vishnupriya, or is Brenda going to do the presentation?
Yes, Gopal, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so today we'll have this wonderful opportunity to see a nice presentation by Vishnupriya Didi. So I request everybody to mute your mics, and Priya, you can go on. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all so much for being here. Special thanks to Pran Govinda Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So before I start, I'd like to do Mangalacharn for a few minutes. Krishna. ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं वितान्तं सजीवं साद्वैतां साद्वदूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादं सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। प्रिये पञ्चकल्पतरुर्भश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमो आचार्यपादाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथामृतमतारिणे। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for being here. As a bird can only fly as much as its capacity, I can also speak as much as my limited understanding and little realization would let me. I'm very small and unworthy of speaking on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is considered to be the peak of Krishna Bhakti. But I feel very fortunate and grateful to all of you for giving me this golden opportunity to speak on Chaitanya Charitamrita to purify myself. I want to especially thank His Grace Sutapa Prabhu for simplifying such an intricate text, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and producing this profound work of art to increase our desire to read all the sweet pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. It is absolutely incredible what he did with the Chaitanya Charitamrita Compact, which will be our main source for the presentations. And I also want to thank His Grace Pranganda Prabhu and His Grace Gopalrati Prabhu for organizing this incredible Zoom program to hear and remember the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I beg for the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas to please give me your blessings so I can deliver something that may be effective. Thank you. So, we're called the Gaudiya Vaishnavas because we're coming from the line of Mahaprabhu, from the land of Gauradesh. It is the sweetest, most concentrated teaching of love within the whole tradition of Sanatana Dharma. It's like an icing on the cake, um, which Sutapa Prabhu very beautifully explained in his lecture. So in our Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya, we have three main scriptures that we follow as sources of authority. First is the Bhagavad-Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study of Vaishnavism, and is also it catches the essence of all the previous books, the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So from the Bhagavad Gita, we learn the words of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita starts with the fundamental philosophy that we're not the body, and it ends with Krishna's final instruction to Arjuna, which is abandon all religions and surrender unto me. From Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn the activities of Krishna, which picks up from surrendering and expands on it with Dharma Projita Kaitavo verse, which means rejecting all cheating religions and get to the essence, which is bhakti. And it ends with chanting the holy name, which is the only means to destroy all sins. And from Chaitanya Charitamrita, we learn the mind of Krishna. How can we practice this process of chanting? For that, Lord Krishna himself appears again as Lord Chaitanya to teach us by practicing himself. And he comes to this world and shows us how to chant by his own practice. And Chaitanya Charitamrita ends with Mahaprabhu going to Gambhira, where he goes completely mad with the emotions of Radharani that she had for Lord Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, in one of his lectures and um, in many letters, he instructed that we should actually be mad after Krishna, and this is the goal. In a letter, he says, uh, don't ignore your prime duty of life, which is to become mad after Krishna. So that was a brief introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So now we'll go more into details. So this is an overview of Sri Chaitanya's life, very wonderfully shown as a chart by Sutapa Prabhu in his book. And we can see that Lord Chaitanya completed 48 years on this earthly planet. The first 24 years were his household life, which is written in the Adi Parva of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he goes on to take sannyas, then he travels and preaches Then he settles in Jagannath Puri and he associates with more devotees, and then at the end he uh, exhibits transcendental madness. So this is the flow of nectar, another beautiful chart by His Grace Sutapa Prabhu. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's divided in three main volumes: the Adi Lila, Madhya Lila, and Anta Lila. And I will be covering the, so in each volume there are four main sections, and I will be covering the first two sections, which are the Invocation and Incarnation. So going into the first section, Invocation, which covers the first 12 chapters of Adi Lila. They are also further divided into 6 subcategories, which are auspicious prayers, a safe God, the golden opportunity, 5 stars, writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the desire tree. And in essence, in this section, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who's the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he invokes respect and reverence before narrating the life story of Sri Chaitanya. And the main events that happen in this first 12 chapters are the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, prays for blessings. He establishes Sri Chaitanya's divinity. He describes his associates and he explains the reasons for his descent. So, going into the first theme, which is auspicious prayers, um, I wanted to include on another note. Before approaching God through 6 mediums, the author also establishes the importance of tattva before understanding rasa. So we should always understand the philosophy or the absolute truth before getting into the pastimes, because if we don't, then we can easily misunderstand the Lord and think of him as an ordinary person like us. But in reality, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is beyond any of our understanding. But by his mercy and his eternal associates, we are able to get a glimpse into his transcendental activities. So the author first performs Mangalacharan, which is invoking respect and reverence before narrating the life of Lord Chaitanya. And then we learn that there are actually 6 mediums of approaching God. So first is spiritual masters, then devotees, incarnations, expansions, energies, and the Supreme Lord, which is uh, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. The second theme is the concept of a safe God. How can we understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's divinity? In recent years, we can see that many people accept incarnations of God just out of emotion. But thanks to the Vedic scriptures, we can get a clear understanding of a safe incarnation. So it is an acronym as well as a figurative way for us to understand that we are the most safe in God's hands. So S stands for scriptures, which essentially means that in every incarnation of God is predicted in the scriptures. And second is astrology and attributions. So there are specific planetary movements that indicate the appearance of divine personalities. Third is F for follow authorities. So these scriptural statements and astrological predictions are confirmed by the acharyas, which are the great spiritual preceptors. And E is for extraordinary activities. So the Lord performs extraordinary activities while he's on this planet. The third theme is the golden opportunity. So, from Chaitanya Charitamrita and other scriptures, we learn that the Lord descends to the material world only once in a day of Brahma, which is 4.32 billion Earth years, and his rare appearance is centered around specific purpose and mission, as well as to give mercy to all the fallen conditioned souls. And the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is even more rare. And this is why we're the most fortunate and we have the golden opportunity because we're living in the age of Kali and in the same disciplic succession of Lord Chaitanya, following under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. So it is revealed that the Lord's appearance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has external and internal reasons. For external reasons, the Lord comes to liberate fallen souls. So when Advaita Acharya, as you can see in the image on the left, who is one of the most intimate associates of the Lord, he saw that the Kali Yuga is being so degraded. He prayed intensely to the Lord for his appearance, to which the Lord reciprocated and appeared to give the opportunity to each and every one to develop the pure, unalloyed love for Krishna through the process of Nama Sankirtan. So here you can see in this quote, he wove a wreath of the holy name and pure love with which he garlanded the entire material world. Now, for internal reasons, we can understand them by learning that another name of Krishna is Rasaraj, which means he is the king of relationships. So he experiences different relationships in his different incarnations. However, even as Lord Krishna, he had one curiosity which was unfulfilled, which was to taste the love or spiritual emotion that his devotees feel. We learn that Srimati Radharani feels pleasure which is 10 million times greater than the Lord's. So, um, essentially, the three main internal reasons are to delight in Srimati Radharani's position, to understand the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes, and to experience the happiness of a pure devotee. Now we move on to the next theme, which is 5 stars or the Panchatattva. So after describing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the first 4 chapters, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami goes on to describe the glories of his 4 prominent associates in the next 3 chapters. And together they're known as the Panchatattva. Even though the 5 are one, they have expanded into different personalities to play different roles in the Lord's divine pastime. First, as we know in the middle, is Lord Chaitanya, who is the Bhakta Rupa, or the original form of a devotee. To his left is Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is Bhakta Swarupakam, or the expansion of a devotee. To his left, we see Sri Advaita Acharya, who is Bhaktavataram, or the incarnation of a devotee. And then we have Sri Gadadhar Pandit, who is the Bhakta Shaktikam, or the devotional energy. And then we have Sri Srivas Thakur, who is the Bhaktakyam, or pure devotee. So when these 5 forces joined together, they instigated a revolution in the propagation of Krishna consciousness, and they opened the treasure house of Krishna Prem, or divine love. The next theme is writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in the first 7 chapters, the author summarizes the identity of the Lord and his principal associates, and he completes the invocation by giving us a general background of the process of writing the work of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So previously, Krishnadas Goswami was given the title Kaviraj by Jiva Goswami after reading his literary gem, which is the Govinda Lilamrita. But he He writes about himself in the book saying, I am deaf, dumb, wholly illiterate, worldly minded, and lower than a worm in a stool. And this profound humility exemplifies that he's uh, truly the crest jewel of a Vaishnava. And we should follow in the footsteps of such Vaishnavas who are the exemplification of the utmost humility. So, Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered to be the magnum opus. And how can we understand that? By three main points. First is sources. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami receives or instructions and learns about Lord Chaitanya by receiving it from Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, who got the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 16 years. And he also had a close friendship with Swarup Damodar, who was the Lord's personal secretary. So he gained a full comprehension of Sri Chaitanya's life. And later on, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, they convinced Raghunath Goswami to share this information, knowing that these extraordinary pastimes will surely benefit the rest of the world. So next is scriptures. And in this book, the author quotes from various Sanskrit and Bengali texts. And third is style, which is this book is a perfect combination of biographical and philosophical narration. So we see both pastimes of the Lord and also the philosophy that's behind why the Lord appears. And at the left, you can see an image that shows Krishnadas Kaviraj receiving blessings from the Madan Mohan Titi to compile the biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the last section of Invocation is the desire tree, which is the last three chapters, chapters 9 to 12 in the Adi Leela. And here we learn that we're all pleasure-seeking beings, or Anandamaya Pyasad. And Lord Chaitanya actually appeared to show us that the real happiness can only be derived from our eternal spiritual nature, because any other happiness that we can feel in this material world, they do not last long, because they're all material happiness. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to show us that the real happiness can only be derived from serving the Lord. And he planted the seed of devotion, which he watered like a gardener, and he himself became the tree. From that tree grew innumerable branches in the form of his devotees. And that tree of devotion, or the Chaitanya tree, became so enormous that it covered the entire world, and it gave spiritual shelter and nourishment to the entire world. The two main branches of this tree are Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. And at the bottom, you can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, which says, I'm the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Therefore, I order every man within this universe to accept this Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. So following this instruction, Srila Prabhupada is actually the perfect example of such empowerment, because because we can see how distributing Krishna consciousness is the highest welfare work for humanity as a whole. And Srila Prabhupada is one such pioneer who exemplified the reception of mercy and empowerment from Lord Chaitanya. In 1965, just a few days before he turned 69, he set out on the biggest journey of his life, the journey to America, which consisted of tremendous amount of hardships and obstacles, but he did not do it for himself, but for the welfare of the rest of the world. Krishna helped him in every step due to his unshakable faith in Krishna. With only one mission to spread the Krishna consciousness movement under the instruction of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So we should feel the utmost gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada for saving us and giving us the Krishna consciousness family, which is spread all over the world. So finally, we're on to the next section, which is the Incarnation, and it covers chapter 13 and 14 of Adi Lila, and it only has two subsections, which are the rising sun and greatness and sweetness. And in these two chapters, essentially, we can relish how Nimai is born, his miraculous childhood pastimes endear him to the inhabitants of Navadip, and how it further confirms his divine identity. So, Lord Krishna's eternal associates appear before him to prepare the ground. So, Advaita Acharya, who appeared 52 years prior to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he continuously worshipped the Lord and prayed for his descent. And the parents of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, who were formerly Nanda and Yashoda, the parents of Krishna. They both came from pious families and moved to Navadip, West Bengal. However, they suffered greatly as they lost 8 daughters who died at the time of birth. But their fortune eventually took surface when the birth of their first son, Vishwarup, and following him was Vishwambar or Lord Chaitanya, and they became their life and soul. So, after 13 months of pregnancy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared with a thread of auspicious omens and the chanting of holy name everywhere in February 1486, full moon or Purnima. And Sita Thakurani, amongst numerous villagers, came to offer gifts and also gave the name Nimai, which would chase away all inauspiciousness. Also, Nilambar Chakravarti, who was a well-known astrologer, he predicted how this child would have transcendental influence and named him Vishwambar, or which means the maintainer of the entire universe. The local villagers also called him Gauranga out of pure affection due to his beautiful golden complexion. And like this, the son of Sri Chaitanya had finally emerged to banish the darkness of Kali Yuga. In this chapter, we also learn the four main teachings of Sri Chaitanya, which are number one, the goal is to achieve pure love of God. Number two, the object of love is Sri Krishna, who resides in Vrindavan. Number three, the shining example of love are the gopis of Vrindavan. Number four, the guidebook for developing love is Srimad Bhagavatam. So in chapter 14, we learn about the greatness and sweetness of Nimai, which is the Balya Lila of Nimai, and that is the first 5 years of his life. So during this course of time, numerous mystical pastimes took place, which made it clear that he was not an ordinary child, but somehow he still covered them through his internal potency or Yogamaya. Once, Nilambar Chakravarti, when examining the lotus feet of Nimai, confirmed that he is none other than Krishna himself. And also, we learned that from the very beginning of his appearance, Nimai always brought everyone closer to Krishna. And one such way was when he would cry until all the villagers would gather and sing Haribol. Another pastime is when Nimai would purposefully spoil the offerings of devoted Brahmana, and he later revealed to him that he is Krishna himself. Another mystical pastime is when two thieves attempted to take Nimai, but they got so bewildered themselves and kept circling back to the same place. In such way, Nimai performed endless pastimes which were miraculous and sweet for everyone to relish. So it's just a very surface level description of small pastimes, very well known pastimes that we can meditate on. So now that we have gotten a glimpse of the invocation and incarnation portions of Chaitanya Charitamrita, let us meditate on it so we can prepare our prayerful mood and dive deeper into the rest of Chaitanya Charitamrita with the following lecture by His Grace Pran Govinda Prabhu tonight and the upcoming presentations until Gaur Purnima. Thank you for allowing me to speak by your mercy and allowing me to serve you in such a small way. Thank you for kindly listening to me. Hare Krishna.
I thought you could keep going. It was so nice, wonderful. Would you like to keep going? It's wonderful. I think everybody is happy. I learned a lot of things. Wonderful. Thank you. So with your blessing and all the devotees' blessing and Srila Prabhupada's Guranga, we begin. Vande Gurun Padatandam Bhakta Brinda Samanitam Sri Chaitanyam Prabhum Vande Nityananda Sahoditam Sri Nandanandanam Vande Radhika Padadayam Gopijano Samajuktam Vrindavana Manoharam. Hare Krishna. So I appreciate, first of all, to Shraddhadev Prabhu and Gopal Radhe Prabhu to come up with this idea of making Gaur Katha, Gaur Chintan next few weeks. It started at least 1 month almost. Makanchu Prabhu, Amit Kanan Prabhu, many devotees, they are wonderfully explained, and I appreciate that. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, just want to make sure. So, I also eternally thankful and grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving such a wonderful sadhu sangha all over the world through this movement he created, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began. And there were always Vaishnavas in this world. But what was missing before Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the movement that connects us. There were some Vaishnavas always in this world. We are not saying that there was none. But movement was not there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu created this movement. Then after some time it disappeared for 400 years, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur revived it. And Srila Prabhupada literally established it in every corner. and I'm eternally thankful. It reminds of Srila Prabhupada's vision was so vast. When Srila Prabhupada is in Vrindavan, in a small temple, he was with one of his god brother, and a few devotees came, not devotee, just a visitor, came to visit the temple, and they're going. Nobody's preaching them or anything. So Srila Prabhupada says, this Mahaprabhu's movement, it's in the hand of one who will be empowered and do this. So they're looking each other. And Prabhupada said, any one of us can do it, but we have to have a strong desire to fulfill that desire, and then we'll be empowered. So Prabhupada was very clear from the very beginning. The empowerment comes when we have a strong desire to serve and follow the instruction of Guru. So, and he exhibited that, so I'm eternally indebted to his lotus feet. And so I'll invoke also his pranam mantra. Nama Om Vishnu
Think we have little problem with Prabhuji's internet. I request everybody to please be patient. Prabhuji might just join back. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, while we're waiting for Prabhuji, just make a few announcements quickly. So thank you very much, all the devotees, for joining. I'll request you all to please join on time by 6 o'clock, because you see already we are like running 10 minutes late into the program. We're supposed to start kirtan by 5:45. 6 o'clock we're going to start the presentation, so that by 6:30 we can start the class. Today we was the first day also, so went a little late, but I request everybody please to try and come on time. Like this, such a wonderful presentation we had by Vishnu Priya Didi today. Like this, there are more, 5 more days and 5 more wonderful presentations by 5 different uh, youths. And so I request you all to please come and encourage them as well, and bless them so that they can keep doing such wonderful service and preaching activity, and push this movement of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. So, let me see. Well, in this meanwhile, think okay. There, Prabhuji is back. Okay,
Hare Krishna. I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
no
My
problem.
my equipment really shut down because I was doing 2 other Zoom classes before. I guess it's too hit up. It says emergency and just shut down. It was like a surprise. I never had that. So please forgive me. Maybe tomorrow I'll plan to be with Gopal's place. Krishna, Krishna. So I appreciate Mother Vishnu Priya for keeping a wonderful explanation on this. I'm going to elaborate little more what she touched. I think that she covered in every angle, and I appreciate that. So first is the conception of God, that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought is not exactly same concept of God that floating in this world even now. It's a very esoteric, not exoteric. Because general idea of God in this world, that he orders supply or remove our problem, our misery, that's the conception generally we have. And or in majestic aspect, that he will protect us from hell. And this is the reason I'm bringing, because Mahaprabhu's concept of Vrindavan, Brajananandan Krishna is different. And you can even literally talk to anybody outside. Even I was talking today, every day I like to just meet some people, that different theistic parts of the world or theistic parts of the school, that generally are very vague when you ask what is God. I don't ask who is God, I ask what is God. Generally, most of them, they don't have much clue. They're like very vague. So what to talk about those who are connected with God? And the reason I'm bringing that, because only this Hare Krishna philosophy or Gauriya Vaishnava tradition gives the full-fledged about God absolute and his speciality, his associates, his abode, his paraphernalia. Just like I just made a few notes while she was speaking, that she covered very nice, and I appreciate. I hope each student will come up with like that, or maybe more. They can take more time if they need to. So today I'm going to beginning with this Panchatattva. First thing, 5-star. She of course mentioned this, the goal of human being is to awaken our love and actually be mad after Krishna. And that's very nice. So how to become mad after Krishna? Well, first of all, you have to come up with the self-exam. What is monism? Do you have that? You have to step up from that. Monism means we believe God. Believe or not, one devotee, after 35 years, he said that when Krishna comes down to the material world, he performs lila. But actually, in the spiritual world, there is no real much lila, because all the lila is like he takes birth here. And I was very surprised to see that, how somebody thinks like this, because we don't hear so much about Krishna pastimes in Golok Vrindavan, or not even meditate on it. But if you look at Srila Prabhupada's comments so nicely, it attracted me very nice. The Prabhupada said that our service attitude or bhajan of Radha Krishna is our internal business. Means we have to absorb every day. Refuting evolution or Darwin theory, just like you said, these are external preaching business. So preaching is important. Service, everything is important, but intention, internal bhajan has to be there. Then we will appreciate the sweetness and greatness of Mahaprabhu's contribution. If we don't apply our life with a full-fledged sadhana, we won't be able to grasp. Because deep down, I'm being very practical. I know I'm not addressing the today's topics, but I just want to hint you something that deep down, if you examine your heart, I did. That's why I'm saying that our heart actually longs. We have innate longing. Otherwise, why people are watching movie, people are busy of this world relationship, even though we know this world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam, Krishna says, but then, Disney movie makes happily ever after, or, nice movie, and people fall for it. Why? Because they want that everlasting, forever. And if we don't understand what Mahaprabhu came to give, that our heart's eternal longing will be forever satisfied, nourished, if we can somehow or other connect with Mahaprabhu in a deeper level. So I'm going to first discuss about this Panchatattva that she mentioned. We can go little deeper understanding. I'm looking at Sutapa Prabhu's beautiful contribution. I just had a talk also today with him. I just want to tell you that in 1968, March 14th, I found this trace in New York when Srila Prabhupada wrote the preface of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Was very interestingly how he did. He did it on Gaur Purnima day. And before accepting sannyas, Lord Chaitanya was known as Vishwambar. And he explained that how Vishwambar, what is the meaning of Vishwambar? That he wants to actually nourish all the living beings forever in this creation. I was like, wow, what a Prabhupada's vision. This is in his writings. So Lord Chaitanya, and then Prabhupada writes, Lord Chaitanya is the ideal teacher of life's prime necessities. He is the most munificent bestower of love of Krishna. He is the complete reservoir of all mercies and good fortune, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita, Mahabharata and Upanishad. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are the key points. You may read it, but these are the key points we have to hammer in our consciousness. Our consciousness has to be purified by this, constantly thinking, who is Lord Chaitanya? Who is Lord Chaitanya? Why did he come? This has to go on whole day. He is worshipable by everyone in this age of disagreement. That's how Prabhupada put it. Everyone can join in his Sankirtan movement. No previous qualification is necessary. Just by following his teachings, anyone can become a perfect human being. Anyone who is fortunate enough to be attracted by Lord Chaitanya is sure to be successful in his life's mission. In this world, those who are interested in attaining spiritual existence can easily be released from the clutches of Maya by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. The teaching presented in this book are not different from the Lord. This is Prabhupada speaking. I sincerely hope that by understanding the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, human society will experience a new light of spiritual life, which will open the field of activity for the pure soul. If I ask you right now, what did I just read? This is Prabhupada's blessing. He's giving us blessing. This is meditation required when we chant. Prabhupada is giving blessing. We're looking for Prabhupada's blessing, but he is giving here. He said, I sincerely hope by understanding the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, human society will experience, that includes New Orleans, Alachua, everybody all over the world, a new light of spiritual life. It is not a regular spiritual life. It is not that we are trying to be religious. Prabhupada is saying new light, which are never given. And then Prabhupada writes, which will open the field of activity for the pure soul. Such a perfect way Prabhupada put it. I mean, I have to send this to Sutava Prabhu, so he should add it in this. Then, as Mother Vishnupriya also mentioned, that how can we confirm Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's divinity? Well, first of all, yesterday I was mentioning in a class that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not known in the world. Well, there are a few reasons. One reason is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. He never wanted to reveal. Anytime he got caught or anybody addressed him as Supreme Lord, he immediately closed his ear. Vishnu, Vishnu, do not say like this. He even said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see some explanation why he was addressed. And he said, no, I'm just an ordinary living entity. He was taking that position of an ordinary preacher. He did not want to expose, like Krishna, he did. Krishna boldly declared his Supreme Lord. If you read Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna's identity is very much clear, very clear. No scripture in the entire world, neither Muhammad says he's God, nor Jesus said he's God. Nobody ever declared. Only Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very rarely he did that. Krishna did. Krishna did. He even quoted those verses. Ahami sarva jagyanam bhakta cha prabhurevacha. If you do not know me, that I am the ultimate enjoyer and Supreme Lord, if you do not know me, you will fall down and you will suffer in this world. That's very bold, very straightforward. That's Krishna. And Krishna revealed. Of course, not everybody understood him. And Prabhupada gives the reason that he demanded surrender to understand him. One has to surrender. But the greatness of Prabhupada's explanation that Mahaprabhu did not demand surrender. Through Nityananda Prabhu, he is giving a sample. Like in the mall, if you go, or a big store, if they have a new product, they give you a little taste of a sample. I saw in Sam's Club here, like a Costco. And of course, we didn't take it, but they are giving, and people like it, people. Or they like it, then they will start buying. So Nityananda Prabhu, through Mahaprabhu, through Nityananda Prabhu, and through all his branches, he was giving a sample of taste of Krishna conscious life. And that's how we all learn. But surrender is still there, but it is not demanded. It comes along slowly, slowly. So this is very nice. Then I'm just touching. Okay. This is the Pancha. This is the Pancha Tattva. I really want everybody to remember this. First of all, can I ask everybody to please fold your hand and repeat after this. This is a very powerful mantra. Actually, one lecture Prabhupada says that if you just chant this mantra sincerely, knowing who composed it and when they composed, then the empowerment will come. Gyatta agyatta cha karmani, gyatta agyatta cha karmani, lokayam anutistati. Vidusha karma siddhishyat. If you know what you are chanting, why you are chanting, then Krishna says in 10th canto, 24th chapter, that you will get the benefit, highest benefit. And if you don't know, look, janayam anutistati. Krishna says people do things for religious activity. They do, but they don't know. But if they don't know, they will not get that much result. So it is very important. This first 14 sloka. We're not going to do it every day because it takes a long time. But I beg you, request you. And this 14th sloka is the seed verse for whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. I don't know in Sutaba's book he mentioned or not. I think he did probably. I didn't read it. But this 14th sloka, Prabhupada mentioned few times, even later on in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This 14th sloka actually is the seed where everything came out. So first sloka is, which Mother Vishnupriya addressed very well, the sixth way you can approach Supreme Lord. So there's a little key point. So please fold your hand and repeat after me. At least one person you can unmute so I can hear that you are doing it. Bande. Can one person unmute and just repeat so that I can hear the Gurun.
Gurun.
Isha Bhaktan.
Isha Bhaktan.
Isha Avatarakan.
Isha Avatarakan.
No, Isha Avatarakam.
Isha Avatarakam.
Tat Prakasangscha.
Tat Prakasangscha.
Tat Shakti.
Tat Shakti.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Sangakam.
Sangakam.
Very good. Thank you. This is a very powerful sloka that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can be approached, or Supreme Absolute can be approached. And you can say, well, one of the thing is that Guru. It did not say Guru actually, it says Gurun. Gurun is a plural. Plural means there is a Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. Now, if somebody claims that, okay, I have a Guru, then I am fine. I am done. I don't need to do anything. No, this is not what it says. Because even though it appears like this, you have to read the purport of Prabhupada later on, in the few chapters later, that when you surrender to Guru, your attraction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has to increase. And detachment from this world has to increase. If it is not happening, then you actually haven't taken shelter of Guru. Somebody can say, I took shelter of Gadadhar Shakti Tattva. I took shelter of Advaita Acharya. Did you feel attraction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No, then you did not actually get into it. And you will see in chapter later on, Advaita Acharya Prabhu had 6 sons. 3 sons are bona fide, 3 are not. And the whole chapter has many, many sloka. Even Prabhupada says that, can you imagine? You are a children of God. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu. Children of God. Who is Advaita Acharya? It's not a just any Vishnu form. He is a incarnation where Mahavishnu, after contemplating the Kali Yuga, entering to this Kali Yuga is the horrible Kali Yuga, more than other Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga is going to actually keep people away from God consciousness. It's not possible. They will focus. Those who are chanting actually in the Hare Krishna movement, they are extremely fortunate. They are way beyond. But this Kali Yuga is so bad. So when Mahavishnu was contemplating, then Sadasiva appeared. I'm sure you all heard that story. When Sadasiva appeared and he says, this is wonderful. Such a wonderful, because Sadasiva actually reside in Golok Vrindavan, according to Danavir Goswami Maharaj's Garga Samhita translation, that he lives in and he came and he was revealing that Krishna Chandra is coming. Such a wonderful we will experience. And that time, Mahavishnu got up. He generally lie down on this session. He got up and he embraced the good news. And he started emotional experience. And that emotional experience, the tight closeness between Sadasiva and Mahavishnu actually created another form. That is Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya is actually literary embodiment of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy, you can say. That because he appeared from the Sadashiva and Mahavishnu's embrace. Of course, he's such a great personality, yet 3 of his sons are deprived of Krishna Prem because of this misunderstanding. If one of the devotee do not experience the Krishna consciousness, the taste of Krishna consciousness, because taste is the test, whether you are progressing or not. I mean, this is practically we are applying, that's why we say boldly like this. And if we are not, then maybe some contamination of Advaita Acharya's bad sons influencing us in our mind. Not that they are influencing, but our mind is creating this. So this verse, that 6 way you can approach Krishna, Bande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Misha Avatarakan. It has a many meaning, but one meaning is this, that yes, you can take shelter of your Guru, but do you feel that attraction to Mahaprabhu? If you feel attraction to Mahaprabhu, automatically the attachment to the material world disappearing. If you feel attraction to Gadadhar Prabhu, the Panchatattva, are you accepting the whole package of this 6 personality? Guru, Krishna, Bhakta, Shakti, Avatar, Prakash. Later on, this verse, again, they repeated in Bengali. Guru, Krishna, Bhakta, Shakti, Avatar, Prakash. Ei chhai rupe Krishna Koreno Bilas. Verse goes like this. So we have to pay attention that do we have a respect to all these 6 ways that people are approaching. And if we do, then yes, then we are progressing. This is one nice point. Another is that Panchatattva, the next verse goes, of course, all these verses are very important. Next verse goes, Bande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito. Did I go over the time or I have the time?
Prabhu, you still have around 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, great. Thank you. I get
Yes,
a little nervous. Okay. So the second verse, you can also repeat after me. This is beautiful. Or you can just do it. All of you, just let's do it together. Bande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaura Daye Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamonado. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya Lord Nityananda, who are like sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gaura to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So this is wonderful. Now Prabhupada here didn't say, but another lecture Prabhupada said, why both have appeared? Have you seen? He went like this. Have you seen sun and moon same time in the sky? Generally no. Moon appears at night, sun during the day. So sun appears, you can look at different angle. One of the angle I find from Prabhupada's lecture that sun appears when all the bad things disappears. So all the bad like a ghost, at night you have a ghost, the thieves, rogues, those things disappears. So that, not that you are literally seeing something like that mentality, that what is thief? Everything belongs to Krishna, but I want to, for me, I am for myself. Who are you working for? What are you looking for? For myself. Can you be slave to someone? No, I'm not slave to anyone. I'm not servant of anyone. I'm for me. This kind of is the thief's mentality. This verse has a very deep meaning. So when I think, no, I'm a servant of my Guru and Krishna, that is proper. That means your sun is arising in your heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is arising. And at night, Nityananda Prabhu also trying to catch those bad guys. Mahaprabhu sometimes strict. Mahaprabhu did not literally give everybody Krishna Prem directly. He has some reservation. You can say he has some bar you have to pass. But Nityananda Prabhu, I love the way Prabhupada says. That's why these bars, the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito, same time appear. What does that mean? When one devotee in Calcutta was taking something illegal, and I won't say very deep details because I respect the devotee. He's a good friend of mine too. But Prabhupada's time he was. So Prabhupada sent a message to someone, tell him that he should give up this and come right now. Of course, he didn't pay attention, or some or other he could not come back to practice the devotional. And then Prabhupada said, go tell him, if he doesn't come, I'll reject him. He's no more my disciple. Wow. So then the devotee says, and that disciple, he's American, ran. He came to Prabhupada's place and fell at the feet and asked for forgiveness. He got scared. So then later on, Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Prabhupada, after that devotee left from his room, he came back, he became very steady and is very steady. So then he asked, Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked, would you really give up, Prabhupada, that if somebody don't follow? Prabhupada said, no, impossible. But you said that you will give up. He said, I just wanted to scare him. I said, oh, why is that? He said, that's Nityananda. I like that, the way Prabhupada said. Like Chaitanya Guru. Chaitanya Guru Prabhu was actually, was so playing the drama that he left and he went to life members in Bombay and collect money for his own mission. And then he took a Mayavadi Guru. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj again approached Prabhupada. Prabhupada, this devotee, he is like going against ISKCON. Can you please send a little letter? I can type it out and can you sign it? We want to send to all the life members that he is not ISKCON member. He cannot be part of this. And Prabhupada said, no, I cannot do that. Then after a few months, he literally like joined with another Mayavadi Guru and he was collecting more donation to do a big program. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very happy. Prabhupada, this time you have to do it. This is like out of control. He is literally not against. He's just doing his own things. Have nothing to do with you. Prabhupada said, that's all right. I cannot do anything against. He has taken shelter once. He came to ISKCON. Anybody came to ISKCON, I cannot. So that was very hard. But then, of course, Prabhupada says, wonderful word. He says to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, you can read in Tamal Krishna Maharaj's book or memory tape that you should know there is no end of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. There's never end of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And I'm acting on that. That was very powerful. I love that. I really love that. Because I have a lot of faults. I'm proud. I have a lust, greed, so many faults. Sometimes I think like, if Mahaprabhu comes, you will say, you failed. I'm finished, dismissed. There is no question, even chance. But by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu through Prabhupada, I'm secure. I feel very happy. Okay, I have a hope that I'll enter. Of course, the devotees are very advanced, but I examine myself, and that's the only hope. That's why I'm trying to hold tightly to Prabhupada's lotus feet, because he said like that there is never end anybody takes shelter. So that's wonderful. The third verse. Let's do it together, everybody. I hope I don't take too much time. I'll try to speed it up because she gave a very nice things. I want to touch all of them. Please, can you say in one word? This is the verse. Please memorize. This is a one verse. Ultimate definition of absolute truth. Nothing missing from this verse. So please chant together. Third verse. I saw Gopal Radhe Prabhu, you are putting on the, you are sharing You can put that if you have a facility. The third verse, so everybody can chant together. Okay. Wow, there's a Bengali also. How do you get there? Okay. Together. Jad adaitam brahma upanishadi tadupasata anubha ja atma antarjami purusha iti sangsa vibhava saraisarja purna jaya bhagavan sasayam mayam na chaitannat krishna jagati paratattam paramiha. This is a beautiful verse that if you ever want to explain who is Lord Chaitanya or who is God, what is God, this one verse is enough. I'm thinking like, I don't want to like go forever with this verse, but at least give a key point. Let's see proper translation. Can you put the translation, Prabhu? We can all read. Gopal Radhe Prabhu, go down. Very good. What the Upanishad describe as impersonal Brahman. Do you know what Prabhupada just did? The way he put it, it says Brahma Upanishadi, I can see that, but the way he said it, that you are covering all the Gyanis, impersonalists, Mayavadis, everybody in this. What the Upanishad describe as impersonal Brahman, they do 4 things, we also do, to get that position. Is but the effulgence of his body. Whose body? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What a wonderful. So even the Jnani, Yogi, Karmi, whatever you are, whatever culture, whatever religion you are, just like the Buddhists in Japan right now, as I'm speaking, there's 40,000 Japanese in the Buddhist monastery. They go and they chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra because of one Prabhupada's disciple introduced to the monastery. In all over Japan is spread it. So how much it is happening? It is already happening. Either we become part of it or we'll miss it. Or we'll be selfish and be isolated. So this is very important. What the Upanishad describes as impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. Lord known as the super soul. What is that super soul means? This is yogis, Paramatma, those who are meditating. And this is also including, but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the supreme person of Godhead, Krishna himself. He's not an incarnation of Krishna. He is Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. Anybody looking anything, pleasure, happiness, relationship, this is what 6 opulences boils down to. They are looking for Lord Chaitanya. Only they don't know. We need to help them to see that. And then Prabhupada writes, he is the absolute truth. No other truth is greater than or equal to him. Beautiful. No other truth is greater or equal to him. This one verse, this is the identity. So next verse we'll go together. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatina kalau samarpaitu unnato ujjalarasa sabhakti sriyam hari purata sundaradduti kadamba sandipito sadaridaya kandare spuratuva sachi nandana. This is a beautiful. Anybody knows what is this verse for? This is actually Rupa Goswami Pad composed. Rupa Goswami Pad, such a wonderful associate of Mahaprabhu. He knows the heart of Mahaprabhu. And he gave blessings. We are looking for blessings from Mahaprabhu. This is the blessing Rupa Goswami Pad giving to us. Try to pay attention on this verse and you can chew it like a candy. Sometimes when we drive or like even doing things, we chew those verses. It's so tasty. It's better than gulab jamun, better than anything. So here, Anarpita Charim Chirat, may the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chamber of your heart. He's giving blessing that let Mahaprabhu come to your heart. and he sits there, splendid with radiance of molten gold. What does that mean? Means no other attraction will be there. This is the attraction of molten gold. He has appeared in this age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Wonderful. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami petitioned the blessings of Lord Gopinath. May the Gopinath, the master of gopis, Krishna, bless you. May you become blessed by Gopinath, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, praise. Just as Krishna attracted the gopis by sweet sound of his flute, Lord Chaitanya will attract all the reader's mind by that transcendental vibration. So when you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, do you feel attraction to Mahaprabhu? If you are not, then actually you are saying Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was not correct. No, he is correct. So how do we read? There are 6 processes we may discuss tomorrow. I want to finish this. How you read. So I'm going to discuss this verse in a very another way of meaning. That yes, she also mentioned that the 2 reasons that Mahaprabhu appeared. This secret of this verse has a very significant. Have you ever wondered what is the purpose of anything? Why this universe is famous? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, because the earth, planet Earth. Why Earth is famous? He said because India is a holy place, special place in India is there. And why India is famous? Because Vrindavan. That time, including Navadvip. Why Vrindavan is famous? Because of the Brajavashis. Why Brajavashis are famous? Because uninterrupted, incessant, loving attraction between Radha and Krishna. That is the only reason Prabhupada says in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, why anything and everything exists. If you ask yourself, why do I exist? Why did I come here? What is the purpose? All because of that Radha Krishna's attraction. Now you may say how this verse is related to that. He says very nicely that Sada Hridaya Kandes Purdu Sachinandan, because Sachinandan, Gaur Hari, when he sits in your heart, first thing he does, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, সেই সময়ে ভজনীয় তত্ত্ব গৌর হরি রাধা কৃষ্ণ রূপে হয় ব্রজে অবতরী. Seeing your dasya mood, serving Lord Chaitanya by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and serving under Guru Krishna's guidance. Then when Mahaprabhu sees that your service attitude, you don't have to show to make so many devotees or become a very, no, sincerity, service attitude. That is very important. Consciousness has to be changed. Consciousness, not the physical body, not the place, not environment. It's a consciousness. When consciousness is purified, that time Mahaprabhu will take us where? In the heart. You will have an inner that experience that Mahaprabhu will reveal because he is Radha Krishna himself. So what is happening here? Prabhupada give a secret that when you see Radha Krishna's revelation to you, that time you wonder that what is the highest happiness that they enjoy for each other. Who knows this? Who is experiencing this? Srila Prabhupada put this in the introduction that yes, Radha Krishna's intimate pastime, only those who are very intimate to him. Now Mahaprabhu is experiencing this. Who is very close to Mahaprabhu? Rupa Goswami. Who is close to Rupa Goswami? Raghunath Das Goswami. Who is close to Raghunath Das Goswami? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Who is close to Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami? Narottam Das Thakur. Who is close to Narottam Das Thakur? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Then Baladev Vidyabhushan, Jagannath Das Babaji. The line goes down all the way to Prabhupada. So we have the greatest wealth if we can somehow or other link with it. Then we'll make it. This is the important part. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur's book, Jaiva Dharma, we find that one Vaishnava, I remember, I read that one few times, he's asking to his guru that bhakti is eternal, prem also in the heart. So why do you say that it comes from Mahaprabhu? Everybody, I hope you're catching the question. We already have a Krishna prem in the heart. So what's the speciality of Mahaprabhu that he's coming to give? This verse is giving clue. Then the Paramahansa Babaji Maharaj is saying, I visited Vrindavan and asked eternal servitor of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami Pad. This is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur put it. That Anarpita Charim Chirat, which has never been dealt with before, what is that meaning? Underlining it. Sanatana Goswami Pad says that all such scripture, like Sandilya Sutra, these are giving that, yes, type of devotion that Mahaprabhu came with, which we met after advent of Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Dev, was not previously at any time open to the ordinary person. So that's why it's called Anarpita. What is the standard of the devotion that was not available? Well, one will experience this when complete surrender to Krishna takes place. Then Sanatana Goswami Pad says, is this conception that closeness through your guru to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what the Radha Krishna's experience, the highest ecstasy, that was never given. And the intimate associate Manjuris, they get it. And that's how we can get it. This conception is unbelievable if you deeply think. And Madhulila chapter 7.99, in case if you wonder, did Prabhupada talks about it? Yes. Madhulila chapter 7.99, you can see. Kathakan rohi Prabhu tarialengia, vidai korila tare shakti sancharilya. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, he gave a little purport. He says, what are the potency actually? We say Mahaprabhu delivered millions of people, Prabhupada delivered thousands of people. What does that mean? Delivering, what is delivering means? Prabhupada give the answer. You have to experience. Today I'm not going to discuss, but at least you can read that the three potency. Two potency you must experience. But to get those two potency, one potency connects you through Guru. So if you are initiated, that means you have to have a connection. Suddha Sattva. If Suddha Sattva connection is not developed, then cognizant and pleasure potency will not act. Then you will see this mood, this highest ecstasy will develop. One day we'll discuss that. So Mahaprabhu, he literally established also through the 6 Goswamis, 4 instruction he gave mostly. This is also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila beginning is explaining that they have to excavate the holy dham, Vrindavan, and establish the temples of a particular deity. And he himself, Mahaprabhu himself also manifested, like Kashi Pandit, Basu Ghosh, Govinda Ghosh, Mother Vishnupriya. Mahaprabhu himself manifested as a deity also to them. Then also through Mahaprabhu manifested also through Narottam Das Thakur, Kheturi festival, Nakul Brahmachari, Nishinga Brahmachari. So Mahaprabhu also exhibited what they should do. He also did it while he was present. Text 5. Oh Lord, I'm running out. We'll do up to text 5 and then we'll touch it later tomorrow. So please repeat, or not repeat. We can recite together. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Sakti Rasmat Ekatmana Bhuvi Pura Deha Vedam Gatoto Chaitanyam Pragatamoduna Tadayam Chaikamaptam Radha Bhavaduti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Sarupam. Krishna is Chaitanya is Radha Krishna together. This is the verse proof. How we got this verse? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. How did he get it? From Raghunath Das Goswami. How did Raghunath Das Goswami get it? From Swarup Damodar. How did Swarup Damodar get it? Every night in Gambhira, Mahaprabhu would grab him by his left hand, like a shoulder, you bring your friend. He grabbed his neck and he would reveal why he has appeared. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 24 years as a Grihastha. Then 6 years preaching South India, Vrindavan. 6 years he did a very mystical teachings to the student that we will also do one of those days. And then 12 years he completely isolated himself to experience this. So that's 48 years. In this verse, very interestingly explain this. The next verse, which I'll stop on this next verse, please recite also together. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidri Shabana Eva Sadho Jena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidri Shabama Sokhancha Samadano Bhavat Kidri Shambeti Lobha Tadbhavajo Samajani Sachigarva Sindhu Harindu. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love. If you ask 1 week later to anyone, can you tell me what are the 3 internal reasons and 3 external reasons? These are the 3 internal reasons. Other day with Sarvatarak Prabhu, I was explaining that how Lord Vishnu had developed a desire. I'm not going to discuss that. I'm sure it's already recorded. They can hear if somebody need to hear details. But Lord Vishnu, how he developed a desire to fight. Then Jai Vijay came. And then in the Nishingadev's Leela, how Lord developed a desire of Vatsulya Ras because of Prahlad Maharaj's reciprocation. Then how that leads to Lord Ram incarnation. And Lord Ram incarnation leads unfulfilled desire of friendship as Krishna incarnation. And Krishna incarnation, this is the 3 desire of Prema Vaichitta. Pranaya. This verse says Pranaya. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. What is Pranaya? Pranaya is not just love, it's a stage of love. A good example. Like if you have a business, 50%, 50%, 2 owners. And as Mother Vishnupriya says, what caused Lord Chaitanya to be greedy? That, what is that verse? Vishay Jatiyo Sukh Amar Ashat Amahoite Kotigon Ashray Allah. Ashray Jatiyo Sukh Paite Mandhai. Jatne Ashadite Nari Ki Kori Upai. Those verses I would recite this. These are very nice. You can like recite the whole chapter. Beautiful, those verses. That 10 million times more. But how that idea came? So the explanation given that many pastimes, one of the pastimes is that Rupa Goswami gives that Radha Krishna are eternally enjoying each other a company. At one time, Krishna experienced that how Radharani is experiencing his presence, his association through her mind, through her body, through her vision, through her hearing, all the senses, 10 million times more. For an example, Srimati Radharani is sitting with Krishna, so close proximity. But one bumblebee, seeing the Radharani's beautiful face, could not control but to land there. Of course, those bumblebees are not just bumblebees. They are reporter. They reports like 4 Kumaras. These are great sages. They take the form of bumblebees. Because other gopis cannot come in intimate pastimes of Radha Krishna. But the bumblebees can go. They report. They're like reporter. That's why Rupa Goswami Pad sings, Karunang Kurumayi Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Are Sanaka Sanatana, these are Santo Bhakta. How is that Rupa Goswami Pad praying to them? Because they are reporters, they write what they see. It's so confidential. So from that angle, so one bumblebee is going around Radharani's beautiful face. So then seeing this, Madhumangal from far, he chased this bumblebee. And bumblebee is also name is Madhusudan, honeysuckle. Madhusudan. Madhu means honey and saka, honeysuckle. So when he came back, he said, I chase away the Madhusudan. Radharani is sitting with Krishna, holding Krishna's hand and everything. But when immediately, completely in ecstasy, just by hearing Madhusudan gone, that separation, Krishna was wondering, how is this? How is this she experiencing such intense, always from me? I cannot taste it. So this verse gives this clue why Krishna had desire. Kenona korila vidhi. That Nortam Das Thakur writes that vidhi means Brahma. That Radharani is crying, why you didn't make me a boy so I could just travel with Krishna instead of a girl that I am deprived, because a married lady should not walk around like a coward boys as Krishna does. So many expressions Radharani has, and Krishna wanted to taste those. These are the desire, but prominent is these 3. There are many desires, but prominent is these 3. So that's why Krishna called Rasa Vaishaha. Now, somebody, I hope you don't, all of you, but some people may say, it's God is complete. Why he has to have a desire? Incompleteness. Desire is not imperfection. I really want everybody to understand this. Desire is not imperfection in Krishna. Material desire, you have to renounce. We say material desire is bad. But free will is intrinsic with soul's eternal connection with God. So free will you have to use to withdraw from material desire. But when we are talking about lobha, tat lobha utpatti lakshanam, Rupa Goswami Pad, so many verses he put, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitam moti, kriyatam jodi kutopi labhate, tatram lolam, again he says, that greed. So greed is not bad, but material greed is bad, because that binds us here. It causes us suffering. But the greed in Krishna or desire is not a fault. It is rather embellishment. Why? Because satisfied God does not mean he's inactive, desireless. No, that's not the definition. That's the wrong definition. Krishna is Rasa Vaisha. He's an ocean of nectar. And in the ocean of nectar, there's so many waves. So many waves means so many feelings coming all the time between Radha and Krishna. That's why Krishna's name is Rasa Vaishaha. 14.27 in Bhagavad-Gita, you will see Krishna, Prabhupada put this very important verse. Rasami ayam labdha nandi bhavati. That Krishna is both Rasa and Rasika. He is not only reservoir of all happiness, pleasure, he is also expert, relisher of transcendental mellow of love. So there we have to see Krishna Rasa and Rasika, both. He is the greatest enjoyer of Rasa. And he is the Rasa. Now, what is the importance of Radharani? Radharani is feeding him. Feeding where? What? It's coming from Krishna. This verse is very interesting. This verse is very accommodating. Love is the prema, love is always, you have to think, it's accommodation, it's not a suffocation. Krishna developed greed, or they have this sporting pastime, the separation, union. These are all actually nourishing, embellishing. He's getting new flavor. It's not like the same thing happened, like you eat pizza, after 2 days you get same pizza or same gulab jam, you have some idea. No, Krishna Prem is not like this. Never anything repeated, same thing. It's a new flavor. Nava Rasa. So there's a vast description about this verse, and I'm just thinking like maybe I want to go because of the time. We can discuss this verse again another day more. But this verse is very wonderful, because Krishna himself wondered, where is Radharani coming from? Radharani coming from him. She has no separate existence. She is eternally in him. In Bhagavad-Gita also Krishna expressed, Ahami sarva, Ahami matta sarvam pravartate. Matta sarvam, everything, sarvam pravartate, everything coming from me. Radharani is coming from him. Balaram coming from him. How come Radharani is coming from him, but he has a madness after her? How? This is called wonderful, astonishing, that he is trying to experience this. And this is not a fault, rather this is embellishment, as I mentioned. So we have to go from that angle to understand this. Okay, so next one is the Panchatattva. I did not talk about the Panchatattva. Let's talk about the Panchatattva, the 5. In our spiritual life to progress, we need 5 shelters. Please write it down. Or now Sudama Prabhu actually did not know where it's coming from, but he's going to put it. I think he's going to add this also, because this is we had to talk about it. The Pancha Ashray, we must remember, this is coming from Murari Gupta Karcha. Murari Gupta Karcha, he writes that every devotee should have a 5 shelter in order to experience Krishna Prem. First shelter is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what what he's put, 5 star. Same thing. Very nice. I like the star word. So 5 ashray, Pancha ashray. First ashray is Rasa ashray. And Rasabdim, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself is the reservoir of all Rasa. Any Rasa ever existed or will exist is within Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is embodiment. And that's on that base, Rasami ayam labdhanandi bhavati. Bhaktivinoda Thakur write this. Kono bhagye kono jiber shraddha jodi hoy, tobe sei jeev dasya se gauranga bhajaye. Dasya paripakkhe jabe jiber hridaye srimadhura sude murtiman hoye, se shomoy bhajaniya tattva gore hari, Radha Krishna rupe hoy braje avatari. Those verses based on this. So Mahaprabhu is the Rasa Ashray. You have to have a shelter of Mahaprabhu. Next is Nityananda Prabhu in a short. He is a Prema Ashray. You have to remember this. Nityananda Prabhu is a Prema Ashray. Means he has the key to distribute what Mahaprabhu is. Mahaprabhu is the Rasa and Rasika. But Nityananda Prabhu has the key to open that. And in Madhur Ras, he is Ananga Manjari in Madhurya Ras. Krishna se tumar, Krishna dite para tumara sakati ache. We sing. Amito Kangal, Krishna Krishna boli. Why? Because that's Nityananda Prabhu. Not that Guru has the prema, but Guru has access of that prema and he will link with. So he can give because he's representative of Nityananda Prabhu. Then Gadadhar Prabhu. Gadadhar Prabhu, he is a Bhava Ashray. What is Bhava Ashray? A favorable attitude. When you want to serve holy name, if you have the feeling with it, you will get pure love. Where this feeling will come? From Gadadhar Prabhu, Radharani, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilana. This is Gadadhar Prabhu. Then Advaita Acharya, Pancharatrik Vidhi Ashray. Pancharatrik Vidhi Ashray means if you want to pay attention uninterruptedly, you want to absorb in Krishna consciousness, you need to purify your existence. And the process that we follow, it's all coming from he himself proved it. How? Karaimo Krishna Sarva Nayana Gochar. Tabet Advaita Nam. Strong vow he took. And he proved it just by offering bhoga, little water, Ganges water, and tulasi to Salagram. He literally shook Mahaprabhu in Golok Vrindavan. And Mahaprabhu said, I'm coming. Don't destroy anything. I'm coming. So he proved that the process that Prabhupada gave, it's 100% what Advaita Acharya gave. So that's why it's called Pancharatrik Vidhi Ashray. You purify your existence in order to receive that. And Srivas Thakur is Suddhanam Ashray. Suddhanam Ashray, because he is the head of Jiva Tattva. We all are Jiva Shakti. We don't have any access without him. It's so mercifully he gives us. Oh, Krishna. So I am already going over the time. Should we have if there is any question, or should we just...
Prabhu, actually, you can go on for another 5-7 minutes. I apologize to the devotees. We will not take any questions today. If you have any questions, please write it down. We will take tomorrow because already we started session late. So we would like to hear some more minutes from you, Prabhu. And tomorrow again, please request everybody to join by 6 o'clock. 5:45 Kirtan starts. If you join by Kirtan, very wonderful. And then after that, 6 o'clock presentation starts and Prabhuji starts speaking by 6:20, 6:30. So tomorrow we will have question answer, not today. So Prabhu, you can continue.
Okay. So this conception of Mahaprabhu's Leela, actually we should meditate those. All the pastimes are wonderful. Now you may think like, by chanting, by remembering pastime, what's supposed to happen within us? This is important. That if your mind is not absorbed and intelligence is not engaged, they have a different function. Then we cannot live or reside in spiritual existence. It is not possible. Now it's Abhasa Yoga Jukte. আমাকে তো যে ভক্ত ভজে যেই ভাবে তারে সে ভাবে বুঝি এমোর স্বভাবে. This is Mahaprabhu's own opinion in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that whatever level of contact you are connected with, that much reciprocation you will get. So how do we what should we do in that case? We should do practice, thoroughly practice all the time. So few things just to establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's position, some lila. So here in this there's so much details. I'm just trying to escape from it. how to precise, just few minutes. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Okay, just to finish with this, that we discussed about internal reason, were three. Everybody, I hope everybody remembers that. What is pranaya? I was narrating that story, that what causes Krishna to have a desire. The second one, that difference between Radharani and Krishna, what made Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Radharani has a love, prema. Krishna does not have a love for himself. Radharani has a love for Krishna. Krishna has a madhu, sweetness. Prema Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Lila Madhuri. This is Krishna. So Krishna is the rasa. It's like a Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained. It's like a Krishna is like a sugar cane. And Radharani, she's squeezing the sugar cane, making the juice out and feeding Krishna. Something like that. I was meditating on that. I said, wow, very interesting. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur put it. How to see Krishna with that. And so that's a second point. And the ecstasy Radharani feels after she tastes and she realized that sweetness of Krishna. What realization and ecstasy she experienced, that was the third, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna wanted to experience what made him as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the three external reason was that he wanted to establish the Juga Dharma, Harinam, and that was not the primary, that was the secondary, because any incarnation could do it. And then second one was to respond Advaita Acharya's invitation. And third one was Rasika Shakara Krishna Parama Karun, Edu Hetu Eti Charudgam. The origin two reasons, internal and external. Internal for himself, there's three reasons of those internal, and external, another three reasons, that Ragamarga Bhakti Loke Korita Pracharan, to establish Braja Bhakti, Juga Dharma, and respond to Advaita Acharya. So this is a short way just to remember. And I have a whole bunch of slokas just to back up those where we got this from. And these are wonderful. So I'll end with this, and with the idea of Prabhupada's, I want to just establish that what Prabhupada talks about this. Krishna. There's so many questions. Okay. Everybody heard the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Janma Lila. That is a one good meditation. Another meditation, but can you try to see in every pastime how it is really mystical with a alokik, astonishing. Otherwise, it will not give nourishment, because every pastime Mahaprabhu did, it has to have a astonishing, alokik. Janma Lila, for example, Rahu, you know that pastime, Rahu was thinking that who is this moon? Is not as beautiful as this personality just appeared, so beautiful. So immediately attack Chandra, what causes eclipse. So in that case, you can say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance actually gave birth to holy name, because of this inauspicious scenery. Seeing even the Muslim, everybody started chanting holy name. So this is a mystical, that how he actually induced everybody to chant the name the moment he appeared. So like this, even the Ananta Shesh came. Of course, they did not know that this is Ananta Shesh. Our acharyas are giving the opinion. But Ananta Shesh, a big poisonous snake, but Mahaprabhu Nimai wrapped up with this, and he did not die. Rather, it was embracing These are like a mystical. And the Mahaprabhu loved this puppy dog. And when Mahaprabhu was asking, crying, his affection for this puppy dog, he's a son of Brahman, should not play with the animals like this in Vedic culture. It's for the other caste, not Brahmanas. But when he inquired and he went to Navadvip and he was inquiring, have you seen this puppy dog? And they said, who would not see? He said, how come? He said, there was a big airplane, came from spiritual world. We never heard or saw such things. So these are like mystical, with astonishing. Then you can contemplate how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did these pastimes. So when you hear like Vishnu, Mahaprabhu's teacher, first teacher was Vishnu, then Gangadhar or Gangadas. Gangadas, he was surprised in the school that no student is as meritorious, as genius, as remembrance capacity, unbelievable. How? The Nimai not only he remembers, he can explain what he just heard yesterday or day before yesterday. He heard the word and he would break down that word and give him many meanings. So Gangadas was surprised. Is this possible? How is doing this? He must be Supreme God. So the rumor already started spreading and he wanted to test it. And how did he test it? So one day with Jagannath Mishra and Nimai, they had a contract because complaint came from the Brahmanas that he goes under the water, the Ganges, while the Brahmanas are chanting Gayatri Mantra. He pulls the leg. So Jagannath Mishra made a contract with him. Once you take bath, no more going in the water. Okay, Father, Baba, I will not go anymore. So that's wonderful. Gangadhar was thinking, if he is God, maybe I can test it this way. So one day when Nimai went to school and they're studying, Gangadhar said, I have to take bath and I have to do some puja to Mother Ganges. So he went very far distance in the Ganges, and from a far distance, he was thinking, now I know Nimai took a vow to his father that he will not go to the Ganges. He will not disobey his father and he will not disobey me because I'm his teacher. So after when they are all the way, then all the students are on the bank. He said, Nimai, I want those flowers. Can you bring those flowers to me? Now Nimai is thinking, how am I going to do it? I promised to my father that once I take bath, he already took bath that day. I will not do it. I will not go. And so if I take off my clothes and put on gamcha and go to the Ganges to give my Guru Maharaj, then father will find out that you went to the water, even though it's not for that reason, it was for a good reason, but still he is very strict to his vow. This is Nimai, Brata. So what he did, as he thought, how am I going to do it? Immediately Jogamaya produced a beautiful lotus flower. And every few, like 1 feet, she produced very fragrant lotus flower. And Nimai was like, wow, I can just step on it. And he just stepped on it all the way to his guru and gave it and came back dry, no touch of water. So he kept both promise. So then Gangadhar says, this is not possible unless somebody is Supreme God. He is God. So that's how inconceivable potency was visible in his childhood pastimes, those pastimes when you think, and you can meditate on this. And as we go every day, we should think those pastimes, how it is mystical, and they have a inconceivable potency, that something common people cannot do it. So Mahaprabhu's supremacy has to have this visibility also. I think I'll end here. And yeah, I'll end here.
Thank you so much, Ram Govinda Prabhu. So, on behalf of ISKCON of New Orleans, I'd like to thank and appreciate Ram Govinda Prabhu for taking out his time and wonderfully explaining this Chaitanya Charitamrita very, very nicely. And also to all the devotees who are participated, taken out their time, and we will be continuing this wonderful session like this every day, starting 5:45 to 6 p.m. So I request everyone to please participate, come on time, so that we can hear more Hari Katha. Today, I feel very bad, unfortunately, that I was unable to ask all the devotees to, give any comments, appreciation, questions, but we didn't have any time because already Japa session also is going to be the next one. Japa session is going to start. So, anyways, request tomorrow also everybody to please appear. And tomorrow again, we have another wonderful presentation by another devotee. So request you all to please participate, encourage, and bless all these youths so wonderfully. You saw today Vishnu Priya Didi put the presentation forward and how wonderfully Prangovinda Prabhu also explained. So Prangovinda Prabhu, you can end with ending words. Or I think just 1 second, Prabhu. I will request His Grace Radhacharan Prabhu if he is little free to appreciate or little thank on behalf of ISKCON New Orleans to Pran Govinda Prabhu, if Radhachan
That's
Prabhu is
okay.
available. Yes.
Haribol, Dandavat.
Radhachan Prabhu ki jai.
Yeah, you are to our Guru, Baba. Cannot forget it, but really appreciate so nice Mahaprabhu's esoteric pastimes plus the tattvas that you are explaining. Really, thank you for your time and that wonderful scholarship. Appreciate that. And I don't know who started, but somehow these youths are coming up. This is even better than any lectures I ever heard. So it's very good. Keep it up with the spirit, and thank you, Prabhu. Thanks to everybody, in fact. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Vancha kalpatur vesya kripa
Sarvesha
sindhu
kripa sindhecha
patitana
patitanam
pavaneshu Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Vaishnava.
Anantagari Vaishnavabinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura.
Jai. Thank you very much to all the devotees for participating. Now our Japa session has also started. So I request whoever can participate can go ahead there. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.